TBT. Oh man, again, I don't know what's up with Bogus' luck right now, but this kid just like keeps getting, this guy's like a TBT magnet, and it's horrible for him. He's like, not very good. Oh, I turned up my volume? Alright, hold on. Hold the phone. I got this. Maybe I should just like talk louder. Okay, I can't turn up my mic. I can only turn down the background. That's like our compromise right now. Because I've already maxed out the microphone thing. Anyway, alright, game number 1's gonna be Flash, so your questions have been answered. Alright, everyone's like, oh my god, where's Flash? Alright, there's Flash, calm down kitties. The bad thing about this, of course, is that now, after this game is over, we're gonna get like more and more people joining the stream, and every time someone joins, they're gonna be like, when's Flash gonna play? Has Flash played? So, I entrust you good mods to answer those questions. And try and not get too frustrated. Yeah, good. So, first map is going to be Sniper Ridge. Clearly in favor of the Terran in TVT. So, yeah, I expect Flash to take this pretty easily. I mean, obviously Flash is a monster, but I think more importantly than how good Flash is how terrible Bogus is at TVT. I mean, I feel bad saying this, because he's actually quite a good player in his other matchups. He actually showed us a very crisp TVZ game the other day in Brutal. I can't remember who the other player was. It was some random Chobo, but he still put on a pretty good game. Bogus did. It's just unfortunate that his TVT is just not very good. Just can't figure it out. You know, he's like Firebat Hero in TVP. He just can't figure it out. He needs to go to the Air Force, and then maybe he can figure it out. So yeah, Flash is going to take him out, and yes, Flux Veins. It is definitely possible that Flash could play in the Ace match if it does get to that. So there's still a possibility that he will play StarCraft 2 today. Always a possibility. Oh man, apparently Hulgarius, one of my mods, is going to Korea for the OSL final. That is pretty sick. That is in fact super sick, dude. Very nice, very nice. Oh, looks like we're going straight into the game. Did you mind? Oh yeah, I did. Okay. I was gonna say I didn't even know if I'd made my overlay all nice, but alright, looks good. Looks good in my exploit window. Hopefully it looks good for you guys. The only thing that marginally concerns me is that I'm actually using the VLC stream. Alright, we might. Alright, I'm gonna have the YouTube stream ready to switch to in case shit starts lagging, in case it starts going down. Alright, game number 1. Is it just me or does the quality actually look a little bit better than usual? I can read the words, guys. I can read the words. Like, you see that? It says Terran Command Center. I bet you guys can't read that. English skills are pretty good. So Bogus is going to spawn as a brown Terran at the bottom right. Excuse me. And that would make Flash the teal Terran at the top right. Oh yes, it's also in 4:3 because I'm not using that silly YouTube stream where it's like everything is the wrong resolution. I hope they fix that, by the way. Oh, he just chugged. Did you see him? Did you see him down that Pocari Sweat? Oh man, look at that sick drinking APM. Even the Korean commentator was freaking out. He's like, holy shit, Flash just downed a whole bottle of Pocari Sweat. Nerds are going to die. Lol, silly white guys. You are not pretty Korean girls. Do not hide your faces. Anyway, Bogus doing the good old efficient mining depot. I don't know, anything of a better name for that depot. Basically, it makes your SCVs on the bottom patches mine faster. Just by a little bit. Just a little bit. And it looks like Flash is doing the same. So, Flash loves to proxy racks in TVT. Nothing super cheesy, just proxy one barracks. Oh, wait. Alright, okay. So that's just fast SCV scout. There's a curiously fast SCV scout from Flash. Interesting. He's going to the middle of the map. He's not going to build a second barracks though, that'd just be ridiculous. Would it? He's not going to build a second barracks. You're not going to build a second barracks, Flash. No, he's just scouting around for the proxy racks actually. Because proxy raxing your just one barracks is extremely common in TVT. Flash loves to do it, and you know, most other players are like, well, if Flash does it, it's good enough for me. So interestingly, Flash actually sent out a fairly early SCV scout and just kind of did a little loop-de-loop around the middle looking for a proxy rack from Bogus. But in fact, Bogus has also just made his barracks in his main base, so immediately Bogus takes a slight advantage just having not sent out such a ridiculously early SCV scout. And I say ridiculously early because it was essentially sent out just before his barracks went down, which in TVT you generally don't need to scout that early. Now, you know, if Bogus had proxy racks and Flash just like scouted it and like killed the SCV or something, we would have been like, oh my god, Flash is such a genius. But in this case, it didn't quite work out for him. But that's fine. It's just like a slight mineral deficit. And oh, there's our first lag spike of the day. If we get a couple more of those, I'll switch to the YouTube stream. That doesn't really lag, but it has like funny resolutions and stuff. Anyway, so Bogus has done a 1-rax expand. Actually, both players have gone for the 1-rax expand. So identical builds, and Flash is just continuing to be annoying with this SCV. But it's very unlikely that he'll get the SCV kill though. Yeah, it looks like Bogus actually switched out. Well, oh no, the Marine's there. Okay. I was gonna say that SCV is in the red health now. If Flash kills an SCV with an SCV, that's a little bit silly. That's like the one time you don't expect workers to die. Like, you know, in PvZ, if a probe kills a drone or something, you know, that's sometimes expected. But hold that thought, Flash going in with 1 Marine and 1 SCV. Look at this, just trying to win games with as few units as possible. Look at this crazy aggression. He's like, 1 Marine, better go attack him. Like, who does that? Who does that? Well, I guess Flash does. And I thought I was talking about something else interesting before, but I just completely forgot. Oh yeah, worker on worker fights. SCVs are, or in TVT, it's very unlikely because first of all, your starting worker gets like 20 more health than all the other workers, and you also don't have a range. So it's like if a probe is attacking an SCV that's building something, at least it has like 2 range, so it doesn't have to be right next to your SCV that's building. When you try and kill an SCV with another SCV, that's pretty tough. Although I guess there is the spam trick, so you can make it attack faster at least. But anyway, both players adding on their 2 factories. It's very standard follow-up. Actually, Flash going for a 3rd factory makes me suspect he's going for some kind of vulture play here. But we shall see. The standard is just to go for the 2 factories if you just want to, you know, get some machine shops, get some siege tanks. Mass vulture, like early/mid-game TVT, is quite exciting in my opinion, and it makes for some very peculiar looking games. Basically, what can happen is, you know, the standard in TVT is you go for Goliath tank or dropship, or nowadays occasionally we also see a bunch of wraiths mixed in as well. We're actually seeing starport play a lot more commonly nowadays, I think, than previous seasons, But one alternate thing you can do is go for very quick vultures with both their upgrades, speed and mines, and you just get mass vultures. And obviously vultures produce very quickly, they only cost minerals, they're fairly cheap, so you get a ton of vultures out. And the main reason why it's okay against a Goliath tank is that the vultures themselves are not very effective, but when you lay a bunch of spider mines around the map, it's very difficult for your opponent to move out until he has a decent sized force of Goliaths and tanks, and you know, maybe a couple scans saved up just to be safe. So what often happens is that when the player who's not going for mass vultures scouts you going mass vultures, he actually has to counter by also making a lot of vultures, because otherwise also his Goliath tank is just not nearly going to be mobile enough to deal with it, and you can get surrounded and stuff. So it actually can often end up being like these really crazy mass vulture versus mass vulture games, which are quite exciting to watch. But in this case, it looks like Bogus, still unaware of what's happening, he's just continuing to pump out those tanks, so he's going to have to be quite defensive for a while here. And I think this is a very cool choice of strategy by Flash as well on this map in particular, just due to all these ridges. You can just lay a bunch of mines on the ridge, so even if even if Bogus has a decent sized force and just tries to A-move over mines, if it was like a flat ground, normally that would work because the Goliaths and tanks have instant shot, but since he'd be moving up these ridges, he won't have vision onto the high ground until like he's on top of the mines. So this is even more effective in this case. I actually really like this. The concepts though are done for Bogus, so we will have some scans to use to help clear these mines. But it is just giving Flash some map control. In the meantime, it looks like actually one tank did take a mine hit, so he's just running in with the Vultures here. It looks like he's going after the other tank, but there's a mass repair on that tank, so it's going to be a little bit difficult. He's going to try and lay mines here, but Bogus very smartly targeting those down. Those were manual targets, by the way. He needed to actually right-click on those mines to take them down, otherwise the Goliaths and tanks would have just kept shooting the Vultures. And he probably would have just lost the game instantly if he hadn't done that focus firing. So good job by him. Meanwhile, Flash adding on a couple more factories here. As I said, the Vultures are pretty cheap, so you can just slam out a ton of them with some extra factories. Meanwhile, though, he has gotten his siege mode as well, so he's going to start setting up a container, or at least he's going to try to. He did have some early map control with those Vultures, but I think he got a little bit over-eager there trying to snipe that second siege tank, and he kind of threw away his control a little bit. I mean, he's still kind of holding the ridge here, and he's sending in reinforcements. This is actually going to be a little bit annoying for Bogus. Now, Bogus is trying to edge his way up the side onto this ridge. He does not want Flash to control the entire ridge, or else it's going to be exceedingly difficult for him to push out. He at least wants to kind of control this edge bit here, so he can have some leverage. Meanwhile, the supplies are actually staying very, very even. Flash slightly ahead this whole time, I think, but kind of makes sense, given that Vultures, I believe, are just the same supply as Goliaths and tanks anyway, so, you know, obviously he'll have more of them. But actually, it looks like he did manage to clear this one siege tank on the side, so Bogus is able to at least claim his own ridge. Looks like he might even take down this barracks, and Flash actually also losing one tank on this narrow ramp bit here. I'm a little bit nervous for Bogus, considering, I don't know, okay, there's his barracks. I was going to say, Flash's barracks is kind of spotting for his tanks here, and Bogus' barracks is kind of floating out randomly, and is going to die to some Marines. So, that's not ideal. But Bogus has basically secured himself, or I guess prevented himself from getting contained. Meanwhile, Flash SCV desperately trying to repair that barracks rather. And Bogus has just built another command center, so he's going to go for a relatively quick third base. Or actually, no, I think this is a pretty standard third base. And I do like this choice. You know, it's still a little bit risky for him to move out too aggressively. You know, Flash still does have a decent number of Vultures, and there still are mines on the map. So even though Bogus' ground force is pretty beefy here, you know, it's not the most mobile. So I think it is better for him to just kind of set up a position. I mean, you know, as I say that, he is kind of poking out a little bit, but I don't think he's going to make any headway against that nice position Flash has established on that middle ridge. So he's just going to pull back a little bit, secure his third base, and be happy with taking an expansion. Meanwhile, Flash, though, looks like going for some aggression. We got a shot of Flash's base. I didn't see a third command center from Flash yet. He should be thinking about planting one soon, I would imagine. Meanwhile, Bogus, we did see also got a starport. Could perhaps do some nice drops. If you look at the map, if you look at the mini-map rather, you can see Flash's natural is kind of facing Bogus' main, so you know, relatively easy for Bogus to go do some drops in his natural, and Flash's natural. You know, the supplies actually staying fairly even. I gotta say, Bogus is doing a good job here against Flash, but this engagement could be bad though. Flash, his tanks siege up first actually, but there's a lot of supporting units for Bogus. Is it gonna be enough? It looks like Bogus actually managing to come out ahead in this engagement. I am a little bit surprised by this. I thought Flash would take it for sure. Flash got the first siege up, and he had 3 tanks there, but didn't seem to focus fire the tanks properly or something. Either way, Flash has actually dropped about 10 supply behind now. It's not significant, but also only just now starting his third base at the 3 o'clock expansion, whereas Bogus has already taken his 6 o'clock. He's already transferred SCVs there, so Bogus' third is ahead. He's got a stronger unit composition, I feel, with the Goliaths rather than the Vultures. And he's also going to starport tech up. I mean, he's going to start poking these siege tanks. Bogus seems to be in a pretty nice position against Flash, which is not something I would have expected going into the mid-game here. Or I suppose now that third bases are possibly going into the late game even. Either way, Bogus definitely holding his own. But you know, even though he's doing okay right now, I'd still feel very nervous going into the late game with Flash, because obviously once you go into the late game, like these small supply differences, like 10 supply difference, really doesn't make a difference anymore. So you know, the small advantage that Bogus has now will just kind of go away by the late game. And playing a late game TVT against Flash just seems very, very scary to me. You know, that's like one of the things my parents told me to scare me as a child. You know, other kids' parents, you know, told them stories of like the boogeyman and stuff. It's like, you know, if you don't brush your teeth before you go to bed, the boogeyman's gonna get you, or some shit like that. I don't remember. But for me, it was like, if you don't brush your teeth before you go to bed, you're gonna have to play a long game TVT against Flash. And I was like, no, mommy, no, don't make me play a TVT against Flash. Ah, man. See, this is why I've developed into such a balanced and well-rounded adult, because I had such wonderful childhood memories. So actually, Bogus is now like 20-something supply ahead of Flash. Well, actually, it's like exactly 20 supply ahead of Flash right now. But Flash is taking a very nice position in the middle of the map. And in TVT, like positioning is generally more important than, you know, resource counts or supply counts or what have you. You can see Flash, if you just look at the minimap, Flash has basically established himself on both the middle ridges, which means that if it does go into like the super late game and both players are trying to split the map, he will actually have control of both the 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock expansions, and so he's going to kind of be up a base over, or up 2 bases I guess, over Bogus, which is not going to be ideal. However, you know, it's still fairly early in the game for him to be taking those positions, so they are still a little bit weak. Like if Bogus commits to destroying one of those positions one way or another, or commits to a big drop or something like that, Flash will find himself a little bit overextended. I think he's taking a bit of a risk here to go for those positions so early, especially since he's already behind in supply. I feel like Bogus could punish him for it, or you could just do what he's doing right now, which is you know, getting some dropships to go maybe start dropping a 3 o'clock expansion, and also taking the bottom left natural already. Even though Flash has position, Bogus is like, well, that's fine, I'll just expand before you anyway. And then maybe he can hit some nice timing there, especially on that left ridge. It seems very, very lightly defended. You know, a couple of siege tanks and a few spider mines defending them are extremely cost efficient in defending any kind of attack. But you know, if he commits just like control group units, he can break it. And he's actually massing up a decent number of dropships here. Now, I don't know if we've gotten a shot of that 3 o'clock base yet. I see a lot of stuff there, but I don't know if like Flash has very many turrets there to help defend against a drop. Meanwhile, Bogus is now pushing up this ridge here, using his vultures to actually spot for the tanks, and actually manages to clear out the side position here. So is he going to be able to keep control of this 9 o'clock ridge? Flash is bringing in more siege tanks, but I wonder if this might also partially be a distraction tactic while he goes in for a drop on the other side. I'm not sure. Looks like his vultures do get cleaned up here. Flash gonna go for a scan, take out those spider mines as well. But here we go. The drop's just moving out. Looks like they're just now moving out. Where is he gonna go? Is he gonna try and drop on those ridges to help break a position? Is he gonna go drop an expansion? Is he gonna go to the left side with the dropships? Where's he gonna go? Come on, Bogus. Where are you going with those drops? Looks like Flash meanwhile has actually sent quite a few units over to that 9 o'clock position. And looks like he is actually going to send the dropships over to the 9 o'clock to help bust it. Oh man, we're lagging. We're lagging. Alright, we're fine. We're good. It's not a buffer into GG. I can't even switch the streams now because there's like too much going on. Alright, I'll switch the streams after this game. And it looks like Flash, I think Flash might barely hold on. Flash comes out with the Valkyries and the Wraith, takes down these dropships for free. That Wraith will also be able to start poking away at those siege tanks, but it looks like there was a turret, a couple of turrets in the back actually. Whoa, Flash getting a bit over eager, going to lose that Wraith, might even lose one of the Valkyries as well, but he does get 3 of those dropships, so at least gas-wise, absolutely worth it. And it looks like the Valkyries actually do survive. Meanwhile, the +2 has finished for Bogus, the all-important TVT upgrade. Actually, I'm just going to quickly try and switch streams here before we lag at a crucial moment. Alright, ready guys? And boom. Alright. So let's see here. Did we miss anything? No, it looks like everything is still fairly okay. Both players basically just taking their sides of the map. Flash looks like he's just triple expanded here, which is actually not that... Oh, god damn it! I switched to the YouTube stream so it wouldn't lag. Yeah, but you know, oftentimes in TVT, I mean, well, basically all the time in TVT, you're mainly spending your gas. The Goliaths, the tanks, the Wraiths, dropships, all those good units are very gas heavy. So you end up with just a lot of minerals in the bank, and that's not like it's not because you have bad macros, just the nature of the matchup having spare minerals. So you'll often see this going to the late game phase, just like expanding a ton. And in the meantime, there's still a battle going on over this 9 o'clock base here. I think, you know, it's very smart for Flash to try and take this early, but it looks like Bogus, you know, carrying his supply lead to try and push this position back, and he's kind of managed to secure it. He has built a command center there already, I believe. But that's fine. For some reason though, Bogus is just pulling further and further ahead in the supply. Every time we look at this 9 o'clock engagement, like, it seems to be fairly even trades. And yet Bogus right now is like almost 40 supply ahead. And now he's going in for the big carpet bomb all over Flash's position. Flash does not have nearly enough supporting units for Shanks, and Bogus is actually going to break this position here. Oh my goodness, Flash is losing this position. What is going on here? By the way, I would also like to state that Flash should have been preparing a lot for his TBT in Brood War, because he's going to be playing a semifinals of the OSL against Fantasy next Tuesday. Not the coming Tuesday, but the Tuesday after that. So in a week and a half, Flash is supposed to play a TBT semifinal against Fantasy. And if he's going to lose to Bogus in a TBT, like that just does not bode for him well at all. I mean, Fantasy's TBT is in a completely different league from Bogus's. I mean, that's not even like BMing Bogus. That's just because Fantasy is amazing. So I don't understand what's going on with Flash right now. This is not the kind of play that he needs, you know, to make it to the OSL finals. Although it looks like, oh, he might catch a lot of these dropships. Looks like he's going to lose one. No, not quite losing one. For some reason, that dropship even had an STB in it. That's interesting. He was going to drop it and build a turret or something. That's actually probably what he's going to do. But, oh, it looks like now he's going to bomb this other position, and that is going to go down easy peasy. Very nice moves by Bogus here. Although it looks like Flash had some dropships in position, and he actually drops later and drops on the high ground. So he's going to have a slight advantage here. It looks like he will be able to clean up these units of Bogus, but Bogus has completely destroyed the position that Flash took on the left side bridge. I mean, you know, Flash invested so early in taking that position, and now it's just completely gone, just completely wasted. Although at least he has managed to close the supply gap just a little bit here. But looks like now Bogus going in for a drop at the top left. There were a lot of turrets in position. They're going to kill a lot of these dropships, and now Flash is going to counter drop all over this drop, and it looks like the dropception is going to go in Flash's favor here. That is actually generally what happens. It's like the player that drops second oftentimes does take the fight. But whoa, looks like Flash going for a carpet bomb here. Is this actually going to work? He's going to lose a lot of these dropships now, and oh man, looks like Flash actually got a little bit over eager here. I don't think this is going to work. Yeah, that was not worth it. Took his advantage and just kind of squandered it there. I mean, you know, doing those carpet bombs is nice and all, and it's generally cost efficient, but if you don't have enough stuff, you know, you should just save up and wait for some more units or something. But now Bogus is actually pushing the top left here, and Flash, he's bringing in reinforcements, but they weren't quite in position, so he's actually not going to be able to hold that ridge against Bogus's push here. He's just going to have to kind of do this this good old, you know, Revolutionary War style, line up all your dudes and start firing volleys at each other. I guess that is the nature of TBT. But Bogus is just slowly but steadily pushing up this left side, and Flash looks like he's bringing some units back from his right side position. See, the thing is, Flash also has to be very careful, because his 9 o'clock base, if he doesn't hold that middle ridge between their mains, his 9 o'clock expansion will also be vulnerable to a ground attack. So, you know, he's got to leave a decent sized force there to defend that. But meanwhile, Bogus just constantly pushing this top left here, just non-stop aggression from Bogus, and Bogus actually taking a huge supply lead now, 185 against 106. Flash actually just constantly is doing these inefficient drops now against Bogus's army, and I think Flash, I don't know what he can do anymore. Flash might have just lost to Bogus in a long TBT, ladies and gentlemen. This is blowing my mind right now. I can't believe it. When I saw the matchup, I just gave it to Flash. I was like, yeah, we don't actually need to watch this game. There's like no way Bogus in TBT against Flash, and yet here he is doing it. I mean, mad props to Bogus. And I'm honestly not sure if this is him suddenly figuring out how TBT works, or if Flash has just gone crazy or something. I don't know. Maybe, guys, I think I know what's happened. I think Flash is like mind gaming Fantasy right now, because SKT is playing after this match. So it's quite possible that they're like, you know, watching the games from the studio, or maybe they're like, you know, on their way to the studio. And Fantasy's watching this game, he's like, wait, Flash is losing to Bogus in the TBT? Well, I guess I don't need to practice my TBT anymore. So Fantasy just like goes on vacation for the next week and a half, and he shows up to the MSL finals, you know, he's like in a t-shirt and sandals and stuff. He like just came back from the beach. He's like, yo, sup Flash? I heard you can't TBT anymore, and then Flash just completely destroys him. I think that's what's going on here, because there's no way that Flash is actually like losing, right? That doesn't happen. That can't be real. So I'm just gonna go with that. Anyway, Flash is gonna hold on to this top left main, but he's lost the top left natural. You know, Bogus is taking his half of the map, including the 9 o'clock expansion. And I don't know. I mean, Bogus now he can do anything he wants. He can like do a cool battle cruiser transition. You know, he can make some ghosts, do some nuking. He's like basically maxed against a 113 supply Flash. He's got an 80 supply lead right now. It's kind of ridiculous. So, I mean, Flash is just kind of going to hold on here. If Flash can come back in this game, well, he can't, but, you know, if a miracle occurs, and he is God, so I guess he can make miracles happen. I guess they're not really called, are they still called miracles if he's God and he just, like, makes them happen? Because that doesn't seem really fair if you can, like, create your own miracles, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Anyway, so Flash looks like he brought some units down to the natural to try and retake it, but Bogus just drops the main, Flash having to pull SCVs. Doing a nice job here because SCVs are OP, and actually just kills everything with SCVs. I guess the moral of that attack was that instead of building all these Goliaths and tanks, which haven't been working for him, Flash should have just made only SCVs this game, and perhaps he would be winning at this point. You know, pull a NTT or something. Kudos to you if you got that reference. But yeah, Fantasy just like Fantasy. Whoops! Bogus, rather, is just rolling in now with his tanks. The good old A-move tanks. Flash gonna hold the high ground, but that's just way too many siege tanks, I think. Flash only has 2 tanks there to hold. He's sub 100 supply now. And, well, I'm kind of waiting for Flash to just die. Not much more to say, really. I mean, there's not even like a theoretical way that he can come back in this game. He's just completely dead. I also just realized, now that the game is almost over, I just realized I didn't put the clock positions in the overlay. I'll just do it now, just for lulz. T5 and T1, yeah, just in case it wasn't clear who is who in this game. You now have the handy dandy clock positions in the overlay. Look at that, isn't that awesome? Oh yeah. Anyway, Bogus now taking out the 12, so Flash is now down to the 9 o'clock and the top left main, and the 9 o'clock should be getting very thin here. Yep, looks like it is getting very narrow. And as I said earlier, you know, since he lost that position on the ridge, on that middle ridge connected to the 9 o'clock base, now he has to kind of, you know, drop a bunch of units in the expo to help defend it. He was kind of relying on holding that position, but now he's just got no position anywhere on the map. Like, if you just look at the minimap right now, and you kind of compare it to what it looked like at the beginning of the game, you know, Flash, in the beginning of the game, Flash took very early positions. He had, like, you know, over half the map in his color, in his vision, but now he's just got absolutely no map control. His only vision is, like, where his building, like, in his main base and is at his expos. Otherwise, he's just completely got no control whatsoever. And, you know, kudos to Bogus for not kind of getting over-eager and being like, oh my god, I'm winning against Flash, let me go kill him now! You know, not doing that silly Chobo mistake. Instead, he's just playing very, very slowly, very carefully, taking out expos, you know, doing efficient drops, and just making absolutely sure that Flash cannot come back in this game. And that's exactly how you should play. When you're ahead, you know, that's really the motto. When you're ahead, make sure Flash can't do a silly comeback. So now he's attacking this expo again. Flash having to use more SCVs. SCVs will not save you, Flash. SCVs will not save you, however imbalanced they are. And oh my god, Flash even losing a dropship as he went over to defend. Wasn't paying attention there. Probably has some units in it, but look at this. You see how good SCVs are? You see this shit? You see how ridiculous this is? I mean, people complain about probes and shit all the time, but it's like, no man. No man, do you ever see probes just like, you know, surrounding siege tanks and killing them off? I don't think so. I don't think so. When was the last time you saw Protoss use probes to kill tanks in late game PvT? Actually, it happens quite often, but anyway, GG from Flash, and Bogus takes game number 1 here. He looks surprisingly, like, depressed for a guy who just beat Flash in a long TVT. Bogus, smile, man. Show us that banana grin. Show us the Jangbi troll smile. Show us something, dude. Do a fucking backflip. I don't care. You just beat Flash in a long TVT. Flash, who is supposedly preparing for an OSL semifinals TVT. You just kicked his ass, man. Good job, Bogus. Good job.
예, 이시영 선수가 자신의 가장 큰 약점이었고 좀 그 약점 자체를 계속해서 그 상대방에게 공략